This is Sturdy McKee from sturdymckee.com. Congratulations, if you're at the induction process, you have hired a candidate. That means they've accepted the offer, you've got a start date, now you get down to the work of onboarding them or inducting them. If you're wondering what an induction process is, don't feel bad. The first time I was asked, what's your induction process? My answer was, what's an induction process? And no idea what was meant by that. So what we're looking at here is really a way to onboard the person in a structured, organized fashion to make sure that all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So the induction process is really a list of all the things that you want to train and orient the individual on. So you do basically a brain dump of all the things you need new employees to go through. So whether that's how to open the tool locker and bring things out, or if that's how to do medical records documentation, any of the technical aspects of the position of the job that you're training someone for need to be included here. But the other thing that you're going to want to include are the softer pieces, like the core purpose, the company's strategic priorities and planning, and how you go about establishing those, what the company's core values are, what your vision and BHAG are. And each of these different things can be done by different people. So you're going to have the date that you want it completed by. You're going to assign who's going to do it. So it's highly recommended that one of the owners, founders, or someone in a leadership position anyway, goes through the company's core purpose, strategic priorities, and core values. So they go over the BHAG and the reason the company exists. Then there are other people who might have expertise in an area like documentation and scheduling. So you could assign that to people who are going to be best able to teach that process. You're going to want to do a tour of the facility, or if you have multiple locations, let them know where those are and where the best parking is. If you have meeting schedules and processes like we do through results.com, you orient them to the software platform and how those meetings are held and where the metrics are tracked in the dashboard and all those types of things. You can review the job description, the role scorecard again. You can look at metrics, KPIs, productivity, any of the things that they're going to need to do on a regular basis. You put all this down and then you assign it, and I like using the Google Docs for this because you can then put how much time you're going to allot, what location, particularly if you have multiple locations, who's going to be responsible, and you can share this document with all the people involved, anyone who's assigned any of the topics, as well as the candidate. So everyone knows what's happening, what's going on. You then have another tab on here. You can see calendar at the bottom. We're going to go to that. And what you do on the calendar is you map out the first several weeks. So at least the first 3 weeks, and you put these items from that master list on your calendar to outline, is it going to be done Monday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, whenever. And some of them that you saw, like we put 2 times 30 minutes or 2 times 45 minutes, that means that that's going to be repeated. You go ahead and make sure that those are on. As you can see, electronic medical records documentation is on here for Wednesday morning and again on Thursday morning. Billing and coding will be repeated later. There will be things that you want to review and go over. The other key component to your calendar here for the induction process is to have a meeting near the end of the day, at the end of the week, where the candidate has 3 deliverables. So maybe they need to know and can tell you a core value story. Maybe you want them to talk to you about your UVP, what makes your company different, what makes your company unique, what's your unique value proposition. You may want them to demonstrate a skill or a task or something that they would have learned or acquired. And then in the 3rd week or 4th week at the end, you'll want to make sure that one of the deliverables is that all of the items in this induction process have been completed. So these are a couple of the things you can do. And beyond that, if you're doing more extensive training with someone, what you can consider doing is listing, and this is in a separate document, but listing all the accountabilities, job duties, the activities, the things that person needs to be oriented to and learn, along with columns to the right of it of a training date and then a checkoff date. So the checkoff would be, well, let's use scheduling a patient as an example. be able to schedule a patient. There'll be a training date where someone initials and dates that the person was oriented and trained to that. Then next to that, someone else, not the same person, will go back and double check that this person can demonstrate that skill. And it's good to do that maybe 2-3 days, a week later, to ensure that they can actually do the thing that they've been trained on. And again, it's important to have a different person check them off, because we'll tend to identify deficits more clearly and more objectively if it wasn't us who trained them. So if I did the training, I'm not the person who checks them off. If someone else did the training, I can check them off, but if they don't pass, they go back for another training and then they get checked off again. So we'll repeat it a couple of times, but if you get to the third time and the person's not learning or acquiring those skills, that's something that you may want to consider, whether they're the best fit for that position or that job, whether you made the right decision after all in the hiring process. So I hope that was helpful. Please, if you're enjoying the course, make sure to share it with someone else who could benefit from this. And I'm looking forward to the next final lessons.